The chill of dusk settled deep into the marrow, a damp cold that clung to the air like a shroud. In the heart of Blackwood Cemetery, where the tombstones stood like crooked teeth against the bleeding sky, a young man named Alex moved with a caution that bordered on reverence. Mist, thick and spectral, coiled around his ankles, muffling the sound of his own breathing as he navigated the labyrinth of forgotten names. His destination was a simple, weathered stone marker, isolated under the gnarled branches of an ancient weeping willow. The name etched into it was barely legible, worn smoothed by a century of sorrowful rain. He had been drawn here by stories, by whispers of a place where the veil between worlds was thin, where echoes had a life of their own. The silence was profound, a heavy blanket that seemed to absorb all sound. And as he drew closer to the designated grave, the world outside the iron gates seemed to fade into a distant, forgotten memory. Leaning in, Alex felt a strange compulsion, a need to break the oppressive quiet. His voice was a mere tremor in the vast stillness. "Are you there?" he whispered, the words feeling foolish and small in the face of such solemnity. He waited, a knot of anticipation tightening in his stomach. Then it came, a sound so faint it was almost a trick of the mind. A sibilant hiss that mirrored his own words. "Are you there?" The voice was his, yet not his. It was a perfect, hollow replication, devoid of warmth or life, carried on the mist from a direction he couldn't pinpoint. A shiver, cold and sharp, traced its way down his spine. He froze, his head snapping up, eyes darting between the shadowed mausoleums and leaning crosses. There was nothing. Just the wind sighing through the dead leaves. Deciding he had let his imagination get the better of him, he turned to leave, his boots crunching softly on the gravel path. But he wasn't alone. Another set of footfalls, perfectly in sync with his own, crunched on the same gravel just behind him. He stopped. They stopped. He took another hesitant step. So did they. A primal fear, cold and sharp, seized him. Logic abandoned him, replaced by the desperate, frantic need to escape. He broke into a panic sprint, his lungs burning, his heart hammering against his ribs like a trapped bird. The footsteps behind him matched his pace instantly, a flawless, terrifying echo of his own desperate flight. They pounded the earth in perfect, maddening unison. He risked a glance over his shoulder and saw only the swirling fog, an empty, chasing void. His foot caught on an exposed root, and he went down hard, the impact jarring the air from his lungs. Scrambling to his feet, his breath coming in ragged, painful gasps, he saw it emerging from the deep shadow of a large, angel-topped tomb was a figure. It was his own silhouette, a being made of pure, featureless darkness, and it was mirroring his every move. As he staggered upright, it rose with him. As he raised a trembling hand to his face, it did the same. The mimic, a perfect, negative image of himself, began to walk towards him. It didn't rush. Its pace was deliberate, a slow, inexorable advance that was a direct reflection of his own paralyzed terror. It moved as he might have, had he not been rooted to the spot by a fear so profound it felt like a physical weight. Every subtle shift of his body, every tremor of his hands, was flawlessly duplicated by the approaching darkness. The entity drew closer, its form a silent, walking effigy of his own horror. It was a living shadow, his shadow, and it was coming for him. The final image was a rush of encroaching darkness, a hand identical to his own, yet made of absolute void, reaching out from the screen, an inescapable, silent claim. For as the old tales had warned, in that place, every man must eventually face his own echo.
Subscribe if you dare.